they serve really no purpose. And but that's where foreclosure defense comes in place. By asserting a foreclosure defense, suddenly the slam dunk process of the banks just one after the other, just taking properties away from people, suddenly becomes an ordeal for them. It takes it out of one department where it's just automatic to now they got to try to figure out how to take this house. And suddenly the easiest route for the bank isn't the foreclosure. It might be giving a modification. The foreclosure defense will stretch out the process. And so, we all dealt with the banks and nobody can make a decision. Well, by slowing down the process and stretching it out, you are allowing time to not only work something out, but you're allowing time for it to get to somebody at the bank who can make a decision. Because it's got to get to the right people, ultimately, for something to happen. Because a lot of people there just do not have the authority to do anything. And so the time is on our side. The harder we can make it for the bank to foreclose, the more likely, ultimately, we will get to somebody who will realize, yes, we should do a modification here. If more people would assert a foreclosure defense, I do believe there would be less foreclosure cases filed, and the banks would be more willing to work out modifications. Think about it. We're all lawyers here. At least I think we all are. If you knew that 90% of all your lawsuits, cases that you would file lawsuits on, would be uncontested, and you get whatever you want, we'd be filing suits against everybody, anybody, all the time. But if more people would stand up, it would be. I think the result would be a little different. One thing too that obviously needs to be touched on is when you're dealing with clients about a foreclosure defense, many people don't bother doing it because they think of the expense and the cost. Lawyers are expensive. We don't think we're probably expensive enough, but to many people, we're especially going through a financial crisis, who's in foreclosure, they won't even go to a lawyer because they're just, well, I can't afford a lawyer because I can't afford my mortgage. But in fact, many people can, in the sense that they're not making their mortgage payments. Because many people who are trying for a modification, it's not that they can't pay a penny to the bank, it's that they need the bank to, work out something a little different for them. Or they lost their job for a while, now they're working and they need the bank to do a forbearance or something. And so if they're not paying the bank, most of them do have some money to pay for a defense. And the one other advantage of a foreclosure defense for people is, of course the goal is to win, and a win is, in most cases, a modification so that people can save their home. But, you can't always, you certainly can't guarantee to anybody that, we're going to get you a modification. We can say we can, help with get you leverage to get a modification, and we can buy time, which will allow us to maybe get you a modification. But even in cases where the people maybe just don't have enough income to get the modification, where it just isn't feasible, you have somebody whose income now isn't even as much as what the monthly taxes would be. Well, I got to tell them, you're not going to get a modification. Because you can't even pay the taxes on this place. I think you need to downsize. But in cases where people are denied, the process is stretched out so long that they have a fighting chance. It gives them a sense of empowerment, and for the extra time that they're in the property, even if ultimately it doesn't work out for them, they will feel like they got their money's worth, in the sense that they got more time in the house and they maybe have saved up some extra money, a lot of money, because the fees typically will be a fraction of what the rent would be if they were living somewhere and having to pay rent for who knows how long. The thing is, though, you just got to remind them of it. You got to let them know, keep in contact with them. Let them know what you're doing at all times, and let them know that, of the additional time they're getting, and remind remind them that we can't guarantee anything. So if you set reasonable expectations for the client will more likely be happy no matter what the outcome. So it's very important. I mean, some people you'll never please, no matter what, but it's important to keep reasonable expectations. And I have found that from the get-go. You just say, we can't force a lender to do a modification, but we can give you the leverage that will give you your best fighting chance at it.